The system has a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. Audits are not the same as waste, theft, and abuse. Let's take a moment to break these things down. So please teach me what the difference is. Actually, what you just said is exactly what an audit is. Do I know what was sent where? Not being able to pass an audit, or the fact that the DoD has not passed an audit, does not mean that there is waste, fraud, or abuse. Right there, that is not true at all. Now comes the question of whether or not we can. It seems likely that we can't because we don't have a complete list of what we have and where it is. To say that we can't do something because of waste, fraud, or abuse is not the same thing. In my opinion, that's trash. What's wrong with that? If I give you $1 billion and you can't track it down, I think that's a waste. So that doesn't mean you're always responsible, but please tell me where it went. After that, what should I think? There has been news, but I don't think it's fair to blame you for this. I mean, I'm not saying you did it, but I think it's hard to defend giving a $850 billion budget to an organization that can't pass an audit and explain where the money went. Many people would think that is either waste, fraud, or abuse because they don't understand why that money isn't being properly tracked. Even more so when they see military bases without enough food, and when they see, you want to talk about that because that's a good, I mean, I get where you're trying to go besides the dollars, which upset you a lot. And we should talk. It doesn't seem to bother me much. I believe everything is linked, okay? I think when I share your thoughts on that, will I see the State Department get a certain amount of money and the military budget be 10 times that? I also see the government struggling to give people more basic services, and then I see that department get that much money. I mean, we just got out of 20 years of war and the Pentagon got a $50 billion raise. I mean, that shocks me. I may not fully understand the ins and outs and amazing magic of an audit, but I'm a person who lives on Earth and I can't understand how giving $850 billion to a department means that regular people still have to get food stamps. It looks like that's crooked to me. I'm sorry. Also, if that really blows your mind. If you think that's a crazy plan I have, I really believe that's just the way institutions think. It doesn't take into account the everyday lives of the people you call the world's best fighting force. To go over this idea again, I don't want to start a fight with you, but I find it strange that the response to these questions is, you don't know what an audit is? Bucko. I think that's strange. In this video, the speaker talks about what the price of XRP might look like in the long run as institutions start to use it. They show an interesting chart that correctly shows how they think the chart will look in a new paradigm. In addition, they talk about a recent trend that no one has noticed but shows that institutions are starting to use cryptocurrencies like Ripple and XRP. During the Super Bowl, the Department of Government Efficiency will show ads for Doge. This department is known for focusing on waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. The meetings of Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell on the 11th of February and 12 could raise some concerns and change the direction of Bitcoin's price, which could send it back to $100, 000, and end its 6-day period of stability. What does Bitcoin BTC think about this statement and the big changes that are coming to the economy? What does this mean for the markets for cryptocurrencies? Powell has been asked to talk to the Senate Banking Committee on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. He is going to be in front of the House Financial Services panel the next day. There are a number of reasons why this is not likely to cause the price of Bitcoin to hit $100,000. It is part of the chairman's speech to Congress every 6 months. It's likely that the head of the Federal Reserve will say that the economy is strong. Stress that the Federal Reserve's two main goals are to keep prices stable and increase jobs, and use data to help lower inflation. The hearing will not have a big effect on the value of Bitcoin, except for some short-term changes. Tim Dewey of SGH Macro Advisors says that everyone at the Federal Reserve agrees that rates won't go down until the second half of the year. This prediction might soon change, though, since the number of jobs in January was only 143,000, not the 170,000 that most people thought it would be. If the job data is bad, interest rates might go down, which is good for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Markets, which are thought to be risky for assets. According to experts at Bloomberg, Chair Powell has said that the Fed won't change rates until there is real progress on inflation or some weakness in the job market. If Powell says this in public and thinks that interest rates could go down before June 2025, it could cause people to act in a risky way, which would drive up the price of Bitcoin. The job market got worse, but average hourly wages and wages went up, which was in line with what the Federal Reserve thought would happen. This suggests that the central bank may stick to its decision on interest rates. However, the upcoming core CPI print might change this view. The experts at Bloomberg then said, "We expect both headline and core CPI inflation to rise by 0.3%. If the core CPI is much higher than projected, the Federal Reserve might have to rethink the interest rates it has set. If these things happen, Bitcoin's price might start to go up and could even hit $100,000. Coinache data shows that short contracts worth $77.38 million on Binance, Bybit, and OKEx will be closed if the price of Bitcoin goes above $97,722. What this means is that investors are very pessimistic and are shorting the stock to profit from their hopes. If the price of Bitcoin goes below $96,174, on the other hand, long positions worth $137 million will be closed. Over $247 million worth of trades were closed in the last 24 hours, which shows that the coin markets have too much debt. It's interesting that Bitcoin and Ethereum each contributed about $90 million to the overall amount of liquidations. BTC is worth $97,731 right now. At 8 a.m., it hit a daily high of $97,890 earlier today, after going up by 0.58% on the 10th of February. At the moment, Bitcoin is trading at around $97,000, which is the point of control POC, and the amount with the most trades since November 2024. This block is a very important support level that has kept a bigger drop from happening, which is what the recent consolidation is all about. Bitcoin price predictions say that if this trend changes, BTC could hit a high value of $101,500. But it is important to get past this problem so that the upward trend can continue. Because of this, Bitcoin's biggest short-term gain is $101,500. If the POC breaks down at $97,000, on the other hand, the price could fall to $93,300, which is a safe support level. Still, it's not likely that BTC will stop here. It could go back to $90,900 or $89,000. No matter what, it doesn't look like Bitcoin would hit $100,000 before Powell's testimony. This important level may be reached again after the event, especially if the core CPI is higher than expected. Take a break. But the speaker thinks that these ads will make people more aware of how the government abuses its power, wastes resources, and targets its own citizens. There is also a clip from Elon Musk in which he says that he thinks these concerns are being brought up by the government, which will help new ideas grow and XRP reach its full potential. Elon Musk shared this video again and said that the government is using weapons against its own people and that the technology is meant to make everyone's lives better. After this, the speaker talks about the future of XRP in terms of how institutions will use it. In the past few weeks, more and more Bitcoin users have started to understand that XRP is useful for more than just buying things. Forkin's one part of this assumption is the price of tokens, but the real use of XRP is trickier. A Bitcoin investor recently talked about his investment thesis for Bitcoin. He says that as an investment object, Bitcoin is more like gold, but this theory doesn't talk about why blockchain technology was created, or that cryptocurrencies are not controlled by a single entity. The person talking believes that more people will understand how important XRP is as they learn more about cryptocurrencies. A lot of people who invest in cryptocurrency don't really understand the technology behind it, why it's a better way to send money, or the new financial products that are built on